This one is gonna ruffle some feathers.
I hate this. Some of this stuff was kind of a waste of money. I think that you just haven't tried anything good yet. You're gonna have to cut some of that down. We went too far.
I know.
Welcome back to our channel. Today we are talking about 5 pieces of gear we kind of regret spending money on and what we would have bought instead. So we've been backpacking for about 4 years now, and when we started out, we were honestly just trying to get the cheapest and best, honestly the cheapest, not even best bang for buck, the cheapest gear that we possibly could find. And now that we are a little bit more seasoned, we've upgraded some gear, we realized some of this stuff was kind of a waste of money.
There is a time and a place and certain things you can spend a little less money on, say a tent. Tents are more than capable at a lower price point. They just might be a little bit heavier. But today we're talking about things that we just wish we would have bought correct in the first place. And to start off, we're talking about sleeping bag. This here is my first sleeping bag for backpacking I ever bought. Not sure why I still have it, to be honest. It's an older REI Trail Pod, a 30-degree bag. They don't even make them anymore.
It's like the cheapest sleeping bag that you can buy from REI.
Yeah.
That's what we bought.
It is heavy. It is a 30-degree bag that honestly works okay. Like calling that the limit rating is questionable.
I don't want to be in 30 degrees in this bag.
No way.
It's heavy, it doesn't pack down very well, and honestly, like now that we have upgraded to better sleeping bags, it's crazy how much this adds to your pack, space and weight-wise. And
just comfort when you're trying to sleep. Only pro I can think of for this bag was the wider foot box. It was kind of a wider body, so I was able to turn around in it a little bit, but other than that, I wish I would have just spent the right money in the first place. This was almost $200 when I bought it, and thinking of how much money I spent on it, I wish I would have gone just a little bit more expensive for a much higher quality bag.
A sleeping bag, honestly, the ones that we have now, I think we're gonna use for like 10 plus years.
As long as it survives the beating I put it through.
So if you take care of them, they really should last. So what would we get instead? Also from REI actually has some really amazing products in their just REI brand line. And I think the sleeping bags is one of the best things that they're doing. This is the REI Magma 15 sleeping bag, and I think that this is one of the best bang for buck sleeping bags that you can get.
Yeah.
The 15 runs at $429, but the 30 runs at $379. It's made with 850 fill down, which is some of the best that you are going to find, and it packs down so small.
Especially for that price point, it hits all the marks and still at a good price.
We have been using the Magma line for a few years now.
We even have the Magma down jackets, which are just as good.
So good.
Yeah.
It's like, I think that a comparable sleeping bag is gonna run you a few more $100s at any other brand, but REI has done such a great job with these. These ones, you can actually customize the size. There's like 9 different sizes based on length and width, so it can fit you the best. I personally would always err on the side of a little bit bigger because I roll around in my sleep and I don't want to feel constricted, but it's just nice to have that flexibility.
It is in fact 9 different sizes.
We have the medium wides.
Yeah. A little extra space to toss and turn. We're sometimes like side or stomach sleepers. So this bag, without having to buy one that's like extra wide or buy a specific bag, it's awesome.
Now, we're gonna turn you on to one other thing that we have discovered only this year.
We have been fully converted, and I'm not even ashamed to admit it. We are now quilt people. This comes at a cost, yes, for sure. And maybe you don't need to spend this kind of money right off the bat. However, it will come with me probably on almost every backpacking trip at this point. They're so comfy to use.
I definitely don't think that this is like a beginner piece of gear. These are quite expensive, but these are the Enlightened Equipment quilts. And we didn't get the hype until we tried them, and I cannot say enough.
On the hype train, all aboard,
they're
ready to go.
So comfy, you have so much room, you don't feel constricted, and they are so incredibly lightweight.
I prefer to use it it comes with some straps that can actually go all the way around your sleeping pad. So the quilt itself kind of hugs all the way around. It feels like a really wide bag. It feels like you're just sleeping under your comforter at home. It's the best.
Honestly, we could make a whole video about these and why we are loving them. We don't have time to go into all of the technical specs right now, but next,
Water bladders in the backpack. This one is gonna ruffle some feathers.
It would have ruffled my feathers like 1 year ago.
I've never liked using these. I just didn't know there were other ways besides this or like a smart water with a filter on the top. Filling these up while they're in a backpack is a pain. Nobody will convince me otherwise. People argue it all the time. This is how I feel. I have to pull stuff out to refill this or to get it out.
Just like to picture it, like your backpack is completely stuffed and then you have this thing that you somehow have to pull out, fill, but then getting it back in is
Or people have told me to like refill it while it's still in the backpack. Somebody show me a good way to do that. Not a fan.
But I have always loved these, and I've always said that like I will not backpack without a water bladder because I need to be able to drink water at a moment's notice, and I don't want to ask him to be like, hey, can you grab my water bottle? Or like, can you stop every 5 minutes so that I can get a sip of water? I just won't drink water. So I need something like this.
Yep.
But we didn't know there was any other option.
Until about a year ago. Hard side hydration.
This is a Nalgene and a water bladder combined, and this is probably one of our top 3-4 favorite pieces of gear we've ever used, and we will not go without these. I think the whole set is around $30 or something. It's not, like you can buy a Nalgene and you can also just buy the straw, but here we have the, what is this, like a 1.5 liters?
Yeah, 1.5 liter bottle. It has the quick disconnect straw, so just like most other bladders, you can take it off, you can fill it up. You don't have to fiddle around with the straw while you're dealing with the whole bottle. We
basically just leave the straw on our backpack. This is always on the shoulder, just ready to go. And then when we need to refill this, or if we're at camp and we just want to drink out of a water bottle, we have this. And then there's a long straw that goes into it.
I'd say honestly, this is like kill 2 birds with 1 stone. It still functions and works a lot like you would have your water bladder with the straw, but the bottle can live in the bottle pocket in the side or just wherever it works best in the pack if you want. And then like she said, you have a bottle at camp. You don't have to sip from the straw if you don't want to. You just leave that attached and you have the bottle on your own.
We typically just bring an extra Nalgene lid for each of us so that when we get to camp, we can ditch the straw and just be able to drink out of it, put it in our sleeping bag and not worry. Life-changing. So simple.
It's the best. Moving on.
Oof.
I've seen a lot of people use these and I have not had one good experience with it.
I hate this, but some people love it. I think that you just haven't tried anything good yet.
Hot take. Dang. People are gonna come after you.
Okay.
Just you though.
The Climate Static V sleeping pad. These are so cheap in price. At REI, you can get this for $62 right now, which is a steal for a sleeping pad. It sounds so good. Wait, let's blow it up.
Just pay a little more money and get something that's actually of quality. It's 18.1 ounces and its R value is only 1.3. So I think for how thick this is, it's almost as thick as the pad that we really, really love.
The ones that we typically use are like a
4.3.
4.3 R value, so that's pretty warm. They're insulated. We take them on snow, we take them everywhere. This really doesn't keep you very warm from the ground.
And our favorite pads are lighter than this. I know some people love this pad. I have never had this stay inflated. The entire time I've owned it, not a single night has it stayed inflated. Blowing it up.
So here we have it. Our biggest 2 complaints with this, it's not very comfortable. We've both slept on these and I just think that there's, like ours are currently pretty flat. This has so many ridges. It's just, to me, it's not very comfortable. But secondly, these things do not stay inflated. If you found one that stays inflated, that is so lucky. And we have lots of friends that were like, oh, I got this super cheap sleeping pad. And then they show it to us and then they're like, the next trip, they're like, it doesn't work anymore. We're phoning a friend.
Phoning a friend, just so you know that we're not the only ones with this experience.
Hello?
Hi, Kaylee. Say hi to YouTube.
Hi. Hi, YouTube.
Okay, so right now we are unfortunately talking mad trash on the Climate Static V sleeping pad, and we're curious about your experience with it.
Well, I've gone through 2, both of which left me sleeping on hard rocks in the middle of the night. because they randomly deflated or punctured. Would not recommend.
Do you have anything good to say about it?
No.
Enough said.
Proved our point. Thank you. Love you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Love you.
Bye.
Bye. Not the only ones with issues with this. You heard it from her. 2 of them. She's brave for even buying a second one.
So then you end up spending so much money on like getting multiple of these that we would just recommend getting a really, it doesn't even have to be like the most expensive one, but something that's a little higher quality that is going to save you money in the long run. Because of the ridges in this, they're very hard to find the holes. So like ours, the one that I have right now has gotten a hole in it because I've used it for years now, but the holes were super easy to find. They're patched, works like new again, but this is hard to repair.
Sorry for bagging so hard on that sleeping pad. Just,
You're gonna have to cut some of that down. We went too far.
I know,
So this is our favorite sleeping pad now. We've been using these for years. We've tried a few in between. This is like the best pad. I mean, we cannot say enough good things. We're in love with this.
The only complaint I have, the absolute only complaint, and they fixed it in the newer versions, is just loud when people toss and turn on it. Other than that, it's the best.
We do need to get some of the new ones because he keeps me up all night on this thing.
I toss and turn. That's on me.
So this is the Nemo Tensor. It is an insulated sleeping pad weighing less than a pound, and it's super comfortable, super lightweight, easy to pack back down, easy to patch.
Yeah.
Everything about it is good. I think this is honestly one of the most highly rated sleeping pads on the market. This inflates to 3 inches thick. It is very easy to inflate, only takes a few of the pump sacks to fully inflate. And then we just let out a tiny bit of air to make it a little bit more cushy.
It fits that range of like, it's warm, so we can use it when it's cold out, but it's not too warm. We still carry it in the summer. It's like our one pad does all, so.
Yeah, we really only need this one. Another hot take that I probably would have disagreed with.
Realistically, these are all hot takes.
Hiking boots. I feel like when you start backpacking, at least we were told that you needed ankle support, you needed really sturdy boots because
you needed Gore-Tex.
Yeah, you're carrying all this weight, you need something waterproof, rugged, and you end up with, honestly, not even this is a pretty lightweight hiking shoe, but you end up often with like a leather, heavyweight hiking boot. And in our opinion, there's a much better option. So this is actually my hiking boot. I don't want to totally just destroy this because this is my hiking boot for the winter. It's waterproof, it's great for the winter. It is still a really lightweight hiking boot. Like it's somewhere in between a trail runner and a hiking boot for weight wise. So I do use these, but for the majority of backpacking trips, we are just wearing trail runners and they're super lightweight, super comfortable, have no break-in period. You don't get blisters. We pick ones that are not waterproof because we want them to be breathable. And honestly, if you have a waterproof shoe that's only this tall, if you're crossing a river and you fall in and water gets in, it will never dry.
Been there.
We will literally hike through rivers with these and then just keep hiking, and they're so breathable and so light that they will dry while we're hiking and you won't get blisters. We just love trail runners. We're on that board. We've tried so many trail runners at this point. We have worn a lot of Salomons. We love Salomons.
Salomon, La Sportiva, Hoka.
We're both on the Hoka train right now. This is what we've been wearing this summer, but there's so many good hiking or trail runners out there. These are just a great version of them. We really want to try Ultras next. It honestly depends most on what fits your feet.
This category, I think it's okay to have a pair of each. I think it's best to have a pair of each because there are times where we go out and there's either snow on the ground, there's a lot of water crossings. In the Pacific Northwest, things don't dry very well. When we were in Canada and Scotland, things were just wet all the time. So the Gore-Tex was nice. The ankle coverage was nice so it didn't fill with water. There's a time and a place for both. So we're not hating on boots. We're just hating on boots for every trip.
All the time.
Yeah.
My feet get hot and sweaty.
This one is gonna come down a lot to personal preference, especially solo people versus us as a couple who do 95% of our backpacking together. The Jetboil. This is the Jetboil Flash, and honestly, we've owned a lot of them. It's awesome. it does the job really well.
I feel like this is the classic beginner backpacking stove because it's what you see the most. You're just like, yep, a Jetboil.
Yeah, no, it's great. This is for boiling water, not a lot else. So it does that job very well, but we needed something a little more versatile. One, to bring down weight so we didn't have to carry extra stuff. And two, if we cook in a pot, we can just eat the same meal and only have one dirty dish.
We do a lot of meals that we're cooking on our own now. We're not really doing like Mountain House every once in a while, but not very much anymore. And so boiling just water isn't super useful for us anymore. But honestly, this thing is just large and heavy.
Yeah.
So instead, we have switched to the Jetboil Stash. This is a much smaller, more compact, more lightweight, just all around streamlined version of that. And this is only $20 more expensive. That runs at $129. This is $149, and I really think it's worth that extra $20. In here, all we have is a little stand for the fuel, and then the burner. So this is the comparison of the burners. This one is just so light and it folds open versus that one is massive and it does the same thing.
This one, to hold a pot, that doesn't work. You need an actual pot adapter for this, whereas this is designed to hold this pot or bigger ones.
So this stove ends up just being super lightweight as it is. This pot that it comes with has the classic Jetboil fins to boil water super fast. We use it for that a lot, just boiling water, making coffee. We will even cook in this pot. Like I'll make ramen just for one person in here. The biggest reason that we switched to this, and we did so much research before we got this because there's so many stoves just like this out there, is that the Jetboil Stash stove has the best temperature regulation for cooking.
Yep.
So most Jetboils, honestly, most backpacking stoves are just going to put out as big of a flame as possible to boil water as fast as possible, which does not do well for cooking.
No.
That will just burn everything. Like you could not cook in this.
And a lot of them are a very centralized flame, whereas this one is a wider flame. Think of like a spotlight versus a floodlight. This is a floodlight. The flame is wider.
So we can bring like a pan out there if we're feeling extra fancy. Usually we'll bring this pot and we'll make like some pad thai. We'll make some tacos. And so we can actually just ditch this pot if we want to and we have a specific meal and bring our big pot and still cook on it, whereas we couldn't do that on that stove. The Jetboil Stash, out of all of the stoves that we've done research on, is the best if you're looking to do anything other than boil water.
Yeah.
That is all of the gear that we'll be covering in this video. I would love to hear some of your opinions. If you agree with us, if you think that we're absolutely crazy,
come at us.
Yeah, we're ready for it. Or if you have a different gear swap that you've been wanting to make, because we have a few that are in mind that we haven't quite done yet because they're kind of expensive. But hopefully in the next year, there's a few key pieces of gear that we're stoked to upgrade and talk about.
Really dialing it in. We're really close to like what we want as our perfect setup. We're so close, but we're not there yet.
I think we might be going ultralight.
If you want any videos that are in depth on some of this gear, let us know. We would love to. Oh, if you want any videos, please feel free to shoot us a message or in the comments.
The snow is coming, so we're gonna be indoors. We're ready. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on the next one.
Bye.
Bye.